Hello folks, my name is Marc Gallagher. I am a ukulele player. I've been playing ukulele for about 12, 13 years, and I have very recently made the most heartbreaking ukulele purchase, I think, ever. And that's because over the last 5 years, I have really wanted, a bit of dream gear for me is I wanted a vintage Martin Baritone ukulele. And this all started when I visited my good friend Charlotte Pelgen in Freiburg, Germany, back in 2019, when I went traveling for 3 months around Germany and various countries. I loved that time, and Charlotte has the most gorgeous baritone ukulele I've ever played. It's a vintage Martin, all mahogany, I believe, from, I want to say, the 1950s, 1960s. And it is stunning and warm and beautiful.
How strangely time moves now that all these things stopped clinging to my day.
And I have heard that Charlotte has said before, like, if she could only keep one ukulele, it would be that Martin baritone, not the sopranos that she more commonly is seen performing with, but that baritone. And I don't blame her because it is wonderful. And because of this like fascination I've had, I've been scouring online for years and lurking. However, I've only ever seen Martin baritones online on places like eBay and Reverb being about 1,500 USD, which for one ukulele was just too much for me to ever want to spend on a ukulele that I didn't know if I would ever be able to take out and gig. Because when you've got an instrument that valuable, do you want to take it on the road, on airplanes and stuff like that? I knew I was never going to be able to put a pickup in it. And so very recently I found out there was another listing going up as an auction on eBay, and it was from an antique store somewhere in the US, and it had a Martin baritone ukulele they advertised. And I decided, because at the time I'm recording this, my birthday's in about a week, and at the time of the auction, my birthday would have been about 3 weeks. And I was like, it'd be nice to get myself a present like that, get a ukulele I've always dreamed of. And it came in the post a couple of days ago, and I say that it's the most heartbreaking purchase I've ever made because this is a Martin tenor ukulele, all mahogany. However, it is strung DGBE with baritone strings. And I say that this is heartbreaking because, as nice as a Martin tenor ukulele is, it wasn't what I had in mind, and it wasn't what I was looking for. And I don't blame the antique store. They're not musicians. They're not a music shop. They are antique sellers, and they took someone's word for it of, well, okay, baritone ukulele because it's got these baritone strings on. However, I kind of fished that something was up as soon as I took it out of the box, and then I put it next to my Pono tenor, and just nah. Nice as this ukulele is, and nice as it would be to have a tenor ukulele, I have about 4 tenor ukuleles already. I've got my 2 Ponos, my Flight, my Canalea. I knew that getting another tenor would be completely surplus to my requirements. And again, it just wasn't what I expected or wanted, especially considering the money that I had spent on such a thing. So with the strings not quite working for this with the scale length, the analogy that I would give to the layperson who doesn't understand the difference between these size of ukuleles is that putting some pickup truck wheels on a Ferrari wouldn't make that car into a pickup truck. It would just make it into a Ferrari that has wheels that don't really suit it and don't enable it to perform the best way. As a result, we've got some tension issues and sort of intonation issues on this. And again, for such a valuable, wonderful instrument, it's a shame. And it's just a shame that it wasn't what I needed for my circumstances. Thankfully, very easily enough, I was able to sort out a return via eBay, and I am going to be sending this ukulele away pretty much after I stop recording this video. I just wanted to make a little something to document this and to have a little play of it and show you the sound of probably the most heartbreaking ukulele I've ever bought. And that was a look at my purchase of the Martin Baritone Ukulele. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've had any similar sort of horror stories in buying musical instruments that don't quite turn out the way you hoped and expected. It's a real shame for me because it's almost put me off the idea of going out to try and buy another Martin Baritone ukulele in the future, because I don't want to find myself being burned by something like this, or more frighteningly, I'm worried about if my idea of having a Martin Baritone ukulele is greater than the actual instrument itself. And I'm worried that if I ever was to get an actual Martin Baritone, I would receive it and I'd be thrilled that I had it, but then I would start playing it and I'd be like, this is fine. And I'm worried about finding myself in that situation. So I guess what I should do, and what I will have to try and be a bit more patient for, is to just try stuff in person. Obviously, I wasn't able to with this instrument being from somewhere in the States, but basically, as soon as I get any sort of option to find a seller of a Martin Baritone, I want to be able to be there in person so I can spend the time playing with it and really making that magic feeling that you get when you find an instrument that really connects with you, like this one sadly hasn't been able to happen. You can follow me on your social media of choice at Marc Gallagher Music. You can support my bad spending habits of musical instruments by supporting me on Patreon, patreon.com/Marc Gallagher Music, in which I have various behind the scenes things, early access and more perks for you. Until next time, I'm Marc Gallagher. Have a nice day and I'll see you guys soon.